Have you ever sacrificed your time, energy, money, or emotional support to help someone, only to watch them turn against you? Maybe you defended them when nobody else would. Maybe you helped them through their darkest moment. Maybe you gave them opportunities they couldn't have created on their own. And yet, somehow, they're the ones who criticize you, ignore you, resent you, or disappear the moment they no longer need you. If you've ever experienced this, you've probably asked yourself, how can someone betray the very person who helped them? The answer is far darker than most people realize. And more than a century ago, philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche believed he understood exactly why this happens. What you're about to hear may completely change the way you view kindness, loyalty, and human relationships. Stay until the end, because Nietzsche's final lesson could save you years of disappointment. The uncomfortable truth nobody wants to admit. Most people assume that helping someone creates gratitude. But Nietzsche observed something disturbing. Sometimes, the person you help the most becomes the person who hates you the most. At first glance, this makes no sense. Why would someone resent the person who supported them? Because every significant act of help creates something invisible. A debt. Not necessarily a financial debt. An emotional debt. And the human ego hates feeling indebted. When you help someone in a major way, you unintentionally change the balance of the relationship. You become the one who had the power to help. They become the one who needed help. And for many people, that reality becomes psychologically unbearable. The hidden humiliation of receiving help. Imagine you're struggling. You lose your job. Your business fails. Your relationship falls apart. And someone steps in to rescue you. On the surface, you're grateful. But deep down, another feeling may emerge. A painful one. The feeling that you couldn't do it alone. The feeling that someone witnessed your weakness. Nietzsche believed that every human being possesses a deep desire for strength, independence, and personal power. Nobody wants to feel helpless. Nobody wants to feel inferior. And when someone helps us during our weakest moment, they become a living reminder of that weakness. They saw us when we couldn't save ourselves. For emotionally mature people, that's not a problem. But for others, that memory becomes unbearable. So instead of confronting their discomfort, they distance themselves from the person who reminds them of it. Sometimes, that person is you. When gratitude quietly turns into resentment, here's where things become even more fascinating. Most betrayals don't happen immediately. In the beginning, people are genuinely thankful. They appreciate your help. They admire your generosity. They promise they'll never forget what you've done. But as time passes, something changes. The more they think about what you gave them, the more they become aware of what they cannot repay. And when repayment feels impossible, gratitude can slowly transform into resentment. Think about it. Every interaction becomes a reminder. Every success you have becomes a reminder. Every achievement becomes a reminder. You represent a debt they cannot erase. And eventually, some people begin looking for a way to free themselves from that feeling. The easiest solution? Convince themselves you're not that great after all. That's why some people suddenly become critical of those who once helped them. Not because you've changed, but because their perception has. The dangerous power imbalance. Every relationship operates on an invisible balance. Not a balance of money. A balance of dignity. Mutual respect. Equality. When one person constantly gives and the other constantly receives, that balance starts to shift. Again, even if your intentions are pure. Over time, one person becomes the helper. The other becomes the dependent. And dependence creates tension. Most people would rather feel independent and struggle than feel dependent and secure. Because dependence threatens their identity, their pride, their sense of self-worth. This is why some relationships collapse after one person repeatedly saves the other. The help itself wasn't the problem. The imbalance was. when your success becomes their mirror. There's another reason people betray those who help them. And this one is even darker. Sometimes your help exposes the gap between who they are and who they wish they were. Maybe you're more disciplined, more financially stable, more emotionally controlled, more successful. When you help them, you unintentionally become a mirror. And mirrors can be uncomfortable because they reflect truths people don't want to face. Instead of asking, "How can I grow?" some people ask, "How can I stop feeling inferior?" And one shortcut is to attack the person triggering those feelings. Suddenly, your kindness becomes manipulation. Your success becomes arrogance. Your advice becomes criticism. Not because any of those things are true, but because resentment needs a target. And often, the nearest target is the person who helped. Why this doesn't mean you're the problem. If you've been betrayed after helping someone, don't immediately assume you made a mistake. Human psychology is complicated. The ego is fragile. Pride is powerful. And emotional debt can weigh heavily on people who aren't prepared to carry it. Most betrayals aren't born from evil intentions. They're born from inner conflict. People want help, but they don't want to feel weak. They want support, but they don't want to feel dependent. They want guidance, but they don't want to feel inferior. And when those desires collide, relationships often suffer. Nietzsche's most powerful lesson. So what's the solution? Should you stop helping people? Absolutely not. But Nietzsche's insights suggest that we should help differently. The goal should never be to make people dependent on us. The goal should be to make them stronger without us. There's a huge difference. Don't solve every problem for someone. Teach them how to solve it. Don't carry people forever. Help them learn how to walk on their own. Don't become someone's savior. Become a catalyst for their growth. Because real empowerment doesn't create followers. It creates equals. 5 rules to protect yourself from future betrayal. If you want to help people without destroying the relationship, remember these 5 principles. First, never help someone just to be liked. Second, never expect lifelong gratitude. People change. Emotions change. Memories change. Third, never remind people of what you've done for them. The moment help becomes leverage, it stops being help. Fourth, only give what you're comfortable never getting back. Whether that's money, time, effort, or emotional support. And fifth, never sacrifice yourself to save someone else. Healthy relationships require balance, not martyrdom. The final truth. Here's the lesson most people learn too late. Strong people appreciate help because they see it as temporary support. Weak people often experience help as a threat to their ego. It's not always true, but it's common enough to understand. The next time someone betrays you after you've helped them, remember this. Their reaction says more about their relationship with themselves than their relationship with you. Help people. Be generous. Be compassionate. But never forget this crucial distinction. Helping is not saving. Loving is not self-sacrifice. Giving is not self-destruction. And sometimes the greatest act of wisdom is allowing people to face their own challenges, grow through their own struggles, and discover their own strength. Because the highest form of help is not making someone depend on you. It's helping them reach the day when they no longer need you at all. If this perspective changed the way you see human nature, subscribe for more videos on psychology, philosophy, Nietzsche, human behavior, power dynamics, and the hidden forces that shape our relationships. Because understanding people isn't just knowledge, it's protection.